If they got 3, we're gonna be fucking living like kings, bro.
Yeah, holy moly.
Could I please get 3 crumb chicken cheeses, thanks?
So you might be wondering, why the hell we have crumb cheese chicken sausages? Part of Blanche's work with me is when we started, there was a non-negotiable daily crumb cheese chicken sausage. This outlines kind of one of the methods we used with our work together to get this result, and it's essentially making it sustainable. We were building habits that are going to equal the result we got. For 30 weeks of our work together, a crumb cheese chicken sausage was in play as a mandatory must to his daily intake.
I think it actually started at 2 a day.
2 a day. 2 a day.
Which I factored down to 1. And I mean, I suppose that just outlines the way that this has worked, you know, starting with probably shit habits, the way that they're looked at initially, but you can work with those shit habits and still make a pretty substantial amount of progress and sort of incrementally get better. It's probably about 4 or 5 months now, which says a lot considering this is like, there was no world I imagined without a crumb chicken cheese sausage. I have worked in mining and been a tradesman for many years and am ingrained into the life of the smoko shop. And that was obviously a huge factor when I started with Anton, was how to sort of stray away from that. And I didn't think there'd be a world where I did stray away from that, and we still made a ridiculous amount of progress while still consuming crumb chicken cheeses and dim sims and shit like that. And over time, just got better and better at the habits and the changes. And now it's not even a part of my life anymore. Cheers, bro. A lot of the struggles we had early on with some serious injuries. I had some pretty debilitating shoulder issues that prevented me doing pretty much anything chest-wise and shoulder-wise, and Anton and I found ways to work around that, found ways to implement other exercises that would allow you to keep training through those injuries and sort of correct those injuries at the same time. If I compare how I used to eat before I started with Anton to now, it's actually significantly easier now, which I never would have imagined. When you first start out, you think it's this overwhelmingly gargantuan task to get your macros in check, stick to a program, stick to eating correctly. But if you do it slowly, incrementally, with the mindset that it doesn't all have to be at once, it's incredibly manageable. The thing that stood out for me in regards to getting a coach is, I think we're all guilty of it. You train for years and years and you think you know what you're doing, and you probably do to a reasonable degree, but you don't realize how much you're missing until you have a coach on board that highlights all the deficiencies you have and sort of takes care of all the unspoken elements of your program, you know, your food, your accountability, someone to report to all the time when you're having issues. I think, you know, I trained for fucking years upon years by myself and probably made some progress, but when you make the change to a coach, you don't realize how substantial the progress you can actually make is and how much you're probably cheating yourself by not taking it as seriously as you could. I've learned more about gear in the last year than I had in the last fucking 3 or 4 years prior to that. Incorrectly, I had been approaching gear. If I look back to years ago, I was taking silly amounts of fucking gear. I was getting strong as shit and putting some size on, I suppose, but ultimately a very reckless and just unintelligent way of approaching gear. If I compare that to now, I am literally taking significantly less than what I'd taken when I was a bit younger, getting significantly more out of it, and I'm literally far and away the healthiest I have ever been. And I have the best health markers I've literally ever had in my entire life. And that's all thanks to Anton's guidance, Anton's fucking research approach.
What have you learnt about training and how you approach training since working with me?
I have, in the time I've spent with Anton, I've learnt an incredible amount of training about training itself. Think you sort of know what you're doing. I think the general gym goer probably thinks they know what they're doing, obviously accepts that they could probably get a bit more out of training, but ultimately thinks they're pretty much equipped to train and make progress as they are. What you ultimately realize when you take a coach on and a good coach on like Anton is that you have no fucking idea what you're doing. You could be approaching it in such a significantly more prosperous way. If I've ever had a query about gear, nutrition, training, anything, I've messaged Anton and I have an answer to it in an hour, you know what I mean? Generally within fucking 30 seconds.
That fucking mid as shit. That sucks.
Are you serious?
That fucking sucks.
That's taking me back to a joyous time in my world, bro.
Is the crumb cheese chicken sausage going to be implemented henceforth, or is it going to stay out?
I'm on pretty high macros, man. I can see a world where I fit this in. It's pretty good, man.